Here in the U.S., 44 million people are expecting temperatures to hit above 100 degrees, and 100 million people are under heat alerts. Overseas, the United Kingdom is still grappling with blistering temperatures after yesterday marked the hottest day the nation ever recorded. Michael Mann, distinguished professor and director of the Earth Systems Science Center at Penn State University, joins me now. He's also the author of The New Climate War, The Fight to Take Back Our Planet. Also joining me is Jim Messina, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations and now CEO of the Messina Group. So, Michael, the president is set to speak in a few hours about steps he'll take to fight climate change. What do you want to hear from him?
Yeah, thanks, Lindsey. It's good to be with you. And, what I'd like to hear from him is his continued commitment to do everything he can within the context of the office that he holds, the executive branch, to do what, unfortunately, congressional Republicans are unwilling to do at this point, which is to act meaningfully, to provide incentives for renewable energy, to incorporate policies within the federal government to decrease our reliance on fossil fuels. But the most important thing that he can do is to use the bully pulpit to communicate how essential it is to pass legislation. The president can only do so much. And Joe Biden has made a commitment to the rest of the world that the United States is going to reduce its carbon emissions by 50% within the next decade, which is what we have to do if we're to avert catastrophic warming of more than 3 degrees Fahrenheit. If the U.S. doesn't lead here, other countries aren't going to come to the table. And the only way the U.S. can lead is if we can pass legislation in Congress that codifies the commitments that the administration has made. And that really points to the midterm elections, how important it is to increase the majority in the Senate and hold the House. When it comes to Democratic control of Congress, only one of the two parties, the Democrats, are willing to do anything about climate change, but they need larger majorities so that they can actually pass climate legislation that will codify our commitment to the rest of the world to reduce our carbon emissions.
Jim, that said, we have so many domestic issues at home, too, that are top of mind for voters: inflation, social issues. How big of an issue do Democrats need to make climate change in the midterm?
Well, look, it's a very important issue. And if you look at polling, it can be a little misleading. You look at it and say, oh, well, climate change isn't one of the top issues. But then you look at the actual numbers, and climate change is now the number one issue for voters under 30 years old. It's also one of the most important issues for Democrats overall. And part of what we don't know in the midterm elections is who's going to come out in these elections. All these models you see are guessing about these numbers and whether young voters are going to come out. And young voters are just sick and tired, to Michael's point, of the government doing nothing. And so Biden is leading on his own. He's saying, look, I'm not going to wait for Congress. I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to do everything I can. But let's be honest, to Michael's point, we have to pass a bill here. And young voters, who are going to be one of the keys to this midterm election, are saying that climate change is now their most important issue.
I want to listen to what Senator Dick Durbin told Ari Melber last night.
If we're not serious about it in this generation, our kids will pay a heavy, heavy price. We have to do everything that we can do. More important than any current economic statistics is the fact that if we don't move soon, we're going to do lasting damage to this planet we live on, and our children will have fewer opportunities because of it. So I would say to Joe, we may disagree, my friend, but when you think about your kids and grandkids, you've got to take an extra step forward.
Do you get a sense, Jim, that the urgency is there among politicians and voters?
Certainly voters, yes. The problem is the Republican Party. And the problem is you have one party who just has no interest in doing any of this and is doing everything they can to block it for just political reasons. The question is, when are we actually going to move forward and be the leaders we have to be on this issue? And young voters are getting incredibly frustrated by the lack of action. And, as we go through heat waves like this, as you know, it reminds voters how important this is. It reminds voters why we have to do something, or else, these catastrophic things we're seeing are going to get worse and worse.
Michael, is it a sign to you that we're already behind the curve? We're already too late?
Yeah, Jim makes a really good point here. This is about our commitment to our children and grandchildren, what sort of planet we want to leave behind for them. And what we're seeing play out right now here in the United States with the record-breaking heat. London, England just had temperatures of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. What we're seeing is that some of the impacts, in particular these extreme weather events that we're dealing with now, are actually exceeding what our models predicted. The critics, the contrarians, love to point to scientific uncertainty as if it's a reason for inaction, but it's just the opposite, because uncertainty has broken not in our favor but against us. Some of these impacts are playing out faster than we expected. That's true with these devastating weather extremes. Some of my own research demonstrates that the climate models are not capturing some of the processes that are important in the behavior of the jet stream that is locking in place these devastating extreme weather regimes. And we're seeing the damage play out on our screens right now in real time. This is climate change. This is the climate crisis. It's the greatest crisis that we face.